Hey YouTubers, Steven here. Welcome to my shed. We're out here again. This time it's not for Project Green Marine. I did a little search on YouTube and unfortunately I should have filmed this last weekend when I was actually doing it. But just for you, my subscribers, welcome to the new subscribers. I appreciate you subscribing and joining my channel. But today, I did a search on YouTube. There are no other videos like this. So I'm going to show you how to clean and maintain your kerosene heater. It's a December afternoon, it's Saturday, it's kind of crisp, you know, it's only -2. Quick math, you know, 0 is 32 Fahrenheit, so it's probably just around 30 Fahrenheit. So, I mean, nothing that us Maritimers, I mean, look at me, I've got just a sweatshirt on. This is great weather. Winter's coming. We've got to get our kerosene heaters, you know, cleaned up, maintained, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So, let me move the camera and we'll get started. Alright, hopefully I'm not going to block too much of the light coming in. But, basically, this is what I've got. It's a rectangular kerosene heater. It's a Kerosene Radiant 10. These things are very easy to maintain. Don't be afraid of it. Just make sure there's no fuel in it. That's key. Now, if this is, you know, the winter time, hopefully you've used all your fuel anyways, because bad fuel is no good. It's not going to work. First thing we're going to do is we're going to pop the top out very carefully. We're going to take this piece out. This is glass. It's only candy glass. Very easy to break. We're going to put that off to the side. Now, your safety lever that's here, okay, I'll try and move off to the side. Your safety lever here that basically you pull back to expose your wick, alright, this just pulls out. Just a little snug, you pull it out, make sure you put it off to the side. I'm getting an echo. Anyways, I don't have any fuel in here, so I'm going to put the top back on. First thing we're going to do, most of them have 3 screws. I'll lift this up. There's a screw on either side. And you don't need any tools to actually clean these, which is beautiful. We're just going to undo the screws, pull them out, and put them off to the side. And there's typically one in the back as well. I haven't used my battery powered igniter in a while, so there's no batteries in here, but you want to make sure batteries are out. And we'll take off the back screw as well. And you can use pretty much, you know, your everyday household cleaner, you know, Mr. Clean or whatever, some rags. And the top just basically slides off that easily. So, putting that aside, okay, we're back to our base here. Turn this around. First thing you want to do is you want to disconnect your battery terminals. Okay, now on mine, the wire length tells you automatically where it reconnects, but it doesn't hurt to take pictures or even write down on a little piece of paper which color wire goes on which end of your battery compartment. So we'll move this out of the way, and just like the top, this has 3 little nylon end screws. So we'll just unscrew all these, and again put them aside where they're not going to be in your way, but you're also not going to lose them. And there's usually one on the very end. Pop that out. Alright, now this just slides up like so. Okay, not much to it. Put it off to the side. And here's where our wick is. Okay, so basically there are 3 little screws up here, wing nuts. Alright, then we're going to take off to open this up. And it also pays to make a mental note of how high your wick is. You want to turn this down and make a mental note of how high your wick is. Because when you take the wick out, it's important to know how deep to actually put it back in there. So we're just going to undo the wing nuts. We'll slide the little brackets off to the side. Alright, now it's ready to just pop out. Right? Takes a little bit of wiggling and a little bit of strength, but it will just slide right out. There we go. Here's your wick and your assembly. Alright, now if this rubber boot comes off, it's not a big deal. It can just slide on. This is also a good time to look at your wick. You know, do you need to replace it right now? If not, just leave it where it is. Alright, we can put that aside. And the next thing, alright, now there's usually a little nylon screw down here. Mine actually rusted because I use this out in the shed. These are great in your house, you know, especially if you lose power and you have no heat. Great investment for emergencies. So I just got to get a screwdriver. Alright, so when I broke that off, I just basically drilled out the old screw and found a self-tapping metal screw. And we'll put that off to the side. Now this is the important part. You need to take the bottom base off. And in order to do that, right, you basically just slide the top piece out and it'll lift right off. Now I say this is important because you're going to end up getting all kinds of dirt and crud and everything on your bottom pan. And of course mine's all rusty, but there's no holes through it. But I'll show you reason number 2 why that's important. See this hole in here? The air actually flows underneath the pan and comes up through this hole. Okay, now if you look at the hole, I know there's not enough light in there, but this hole is actually this piece here. And this is where your air comes out around your wick to ignite your kerosene fuel and to give you your fire. So if you have animals, dogs, cats, the dog hair loves to collect up into here, especially dust. You get a lot of dust on your pan, so you want to make sure that everything is clean. And then you can, you know, if yours is rusty like mine, you can just give it a scrape with a wire brush. And then basically, when you've got your top, you know, you can just, if it's really, really filthy, you can just take a rag and some Mr. Clean and clean it all off. Now, mine's a little dusty from being out in the shed for the past week, but you get the idea, right? You just give it a nice little wipe down, get all the dust out of the way. Okay, and then basically you just need to, once it's all cleaned, then reassemble it and put it back on your pan. Before I do that, maybe I'll see here if I can do this. Okay, you can see up here, okay, the metal is pretty flush, but then as you come down it gets a little deeper. This is the front of your pan, so the air actually comes underneath and up through that hole. So that's why it's very important. You don't want this clogged, because then your kerosene heater is not going to be fuel efficient. You're going to be burning more fuel. It's going to be burning rich. And then your house is really going to stink. So I'll get this pan back together. Alrighty, so that's all back in place. We're just going to move our pieces. In the world of make-believe, we've already cleaned everything, made it look all pretty and special. Let me see, I can bring that down a little bit. There we go. Alright, so we'll just say if we needed to replace our wick that we've already done it. And basically you just want to have your wick so that all 4 little legs are out like this, if you can call them legs, and just get it started on that cylinder for your air. And then once you start to bring it down, okay, you just want to tuck your wick inside. It's also a good opportunity too that, you know, if you've got some dirt or whatever inside, you can use a shop vac with a narrow nozzle and suck it all out. We're just going to slide this in here. We want to make sure that our groove is lined up as well for adjustment. Alright, it's down nice and snug. Tighten down our wing nuts again. You don't need to really crank these down, you know, with a ton of force. Just snug. Alright, you don't want it to come off, but at the same time, you don't want to put them on so tight that you end up breaking the bolts. Because if you do that, you're going to have problems. You're not going to be able to get this back on. Okay, so here we go. You saw that was really easy to put back together, right? Anybody can do this. So our top piece here, right, you know, wiped down, it's nice and clean. We're just going to slide this back onto our supports. Put in our nylon screws. Now, the one thing that I will mention, okay, over time, this will get sticky, okay? It should snap shut quickly. But over time, you know, you'll get dust and everything else in there, and you'll pull this back and it won't want to go back in place. The easy solution, just take some penetrating oil. I'm going to get my can here. Just get some penetrating oil. This stuff here is called the original release. I'll tell you, this stuff really works. Just take your little stick that usually comes with them and just give it a couple little squirts. Not a lot, just a little. In both sides of these tracks. And then move it back and forth. Alright, because you want it to snap like that. Because what will happen is if this tips over, you want to shut off the fuel, the fire, the whole 9 yards. You don't want to cause a fire. One of the other things too, if you want, there's a little lever under here, alright, that will set it. Alright, so if you wanted to test it, okay, it's open, it's not going anywhere. Give it a drop and that closes immediately, you know you're ready and safe. So the next thing is basically to put the top on it. After we put our wires back on. Now the white is on this side because, well, as you can see the wire difference. Hopefully that'll come up. There's a big difference in the length of the wires, and I'm sure most kerosene heaters are made this way. And we'll just put our wire connectors back on. Simple like that. And we'll put our top on. And we just put our nylon screws in. Sometimes you have to move the top around just a little bit so that you can, you know, find the threads. in here. Now, one thing that I did forget to mention, okay, sometimes when you take out these little safety bars, I'm not sure what their technical term is, but sometimes when you go to put them back in, they don't snap right in. If you actually take, before you put the top on, or if you find that you've come across this, you can take a flathead screwdriver and a hammer, and you can just give it a little tap right here where the pin is. You can give it a little tap in the back. Right? You don't want to squish it down entirely. Or the other thing that you can do in unison, as soon as I find a pair of pliers, this will do. But what you can do is you can take a pair of pliers and very gently squeeze that mouth, the opening, just a little bit. You don't want to squeeze too hard because you don't want the metal to fold. Alright, you just want to make this small opening here just a little smaller. Alright, so we'll just give that a little squeeze. There we go. And we just slide it in into our hole and just straight. You heard the snap? It's in there. Alright. And next thing you do, you just take a rag, clean out the inside. I mean, you can use Mr. Clean in here too if you really want this to sparkle, but this is my shed. I don't need it to sparkle. I just need it to reflect the heat out. Make sure there's no dust all in here in the corners, you know, because you don't want to start a fire. This gets pretty darn hot in here. And you just do the same thing. You just take your, whatever this piece is, well, I'll call it a mantle. I don't know if that's actually what it's referred to, but just give it a little shop vac out, you know. Make sure there's no dust in there. And this is also a really good time to inspect your setup. Make sure there's no holes in the tank, you know. And like I said, you want to make sure that all the dust's out of here. It's all clean. It's maintained. Alright. Our safety cover is working fine. Now the only thing that's left to do is fill it up. So hopefully you found this video informative. I'm sure, you know, it's a pretty easy thing. Could be a reason why nobody's made a video, because maintaining these things is really just that easy. Now mind you, I don't know how long this video is going to come out as, but obviously it's going to take you a little longer to clean. But you know, winter's here, at least in Canada anyways. Australia and New Zealand, Gentle Arts and True Roo Brew. I'm jealous, boys. You guys are having summer right now, but you know, that's the way the world works, right? So if you have any questions, you know, feel free to put it in the comments or send me an email. And if there's anything else that you'd like to see, you know, drop me a line. You know, there's all kinds of things around the house that need to be maintained that maybe there just isn't videos on YouTube that I haven't thought to check yet. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you next time. Hey YouTubers, Steven here. Welcome to my shed. We're out here again. This time it's not for Project Green Marine. I did a little search on YouTube, and unfortunately I should have filmed this last weekend when I was actually doing it. But just for you, my subscribers, welcome to the new subscribers. I appreciate you subscribing and joining my channel. But today, I did a search on YouTube. There are no other videos like this. So I'm going to show you how to clean and maintain your kerosene heater. It's a December afternoon, it's Saturday, it's kind of crisp, you know, it's only -2. Quick math, you know, 0 is 32 Fahrenheit, so it's probably just around 30 Fahrenheit. So, I mean, nothing that us Maritimers, I mean, look at me, I've got just a sweatshirt on. This is great weather. Winter's coming. We've got to get our kerosene heaters, you know, cleaned up, maintained, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So, let me move the camera and we'll get started. Alright, hopefully I'm not going to block too much of the light coming in. But, basically, this is what I've got. It's a rectangular kerosene heater. It's a Kerosene Radiant 10. These things are very easy to maintain. Don't be afraid of it. Just make sure there's no fuel in it. That's key. Now, if this is, you know, the winter time, hopefully you've used all your fuel anyways, because bad fuel is no good. It's not going to work. First thing we're going to do is we're going to pop the top out. Very carefully, we're going to take this piece out. This is glass. It's only candy.